PewDiePie built a free AI workspace that runs on your own computer. It doesn't send your data to anyone and supposedly does everything ChatGPT or Claude do for free. If you haven't heard yet, it's called Odysseus and it blew up to tens of thousands of users in just days, and everyone online is making wild claims about what it can and can't do. So to show you what it's all about and to save your time doing it, I actually went ahead and tested it. Not just for 5 minutes or just the setup, I built out every real use case, used them like I would use them in my actual daily life to show you exactly whether it held up or fell apart. Now, some of these use cases, as you'll see in the video, will genuinely be impressive and can change how you work. A lot of them are some things that ChatGPT or Claude literally cannot do. So stick around as I go through each use case and show you what you can get out of it so that you can start implementing it in your daily life or your workflow immediately. Alright, so starting with the use case number 1, the everyday AI that costs you nothing. This is one of the use cases that most people care about the most. I mean, it is the headline. Supposedly using Odysseus as your daily AI instead of paying for subscriptions. And for that, all you have to do is actually install your Odysseus AI. If you don't know how to do that yet, go ahead and watch our tutorial that we've made. And once you have it on, you have to connect a model and use the chat. The first path for that is connecting an API key. So this means plugging in a key from a platform like OpenRouter, OpenAI, or Anthropic. Now, as I have covered in previous videos, OpenRouter is the easiest because one key will give you access to a dozen of models, including some free ones. Or you can connect ChatGPT and Claude's API keys directly to use those exact models inside Odysseus. Now, what you get in this path is mainly quality. You will be running the same frontier models that power ChatGPT and Claude, so the responses are top tier. You'll get fast, smart, reliable, and consistent responses. The usability is excellent, but the catch though is that it costs money and it's not fully private. With OpenRouter, OpenAI, or Anthropic keys, you will pay per use, and on heavy days that will add up. With OpenRouter's free models, it is free, but those models are weaker and have rate limits. And critically, as someone mentioned in one of the comments in previous videos, that with any API key, your prompt will leave your machine and go to that company's servers. So pretty much similar to how using ChatGPT normally would. You will get great quality, but you've given up some of the privacy that's supposed to be the whole point of self-hosting. The second path that Odysseus allows you to do is to run a model locally with Ollama. This means installing Ollama on your own device and running a model entirely on your hardware. Nothing connects to the outside, nothing leaves your computer. Now, what you get here is total privacy and zero ongoing cost. No API bills, no data leaving your machine, ever. The catch is the opposite of path 1. Quality and speed depend entirely on your hardware. A local model running on an average laptop is noticeably weaker than a frontier model and slower to respond. On a powerful machine, something with a strong NVIDIA GPU, local models get genuinely good. But they still don't match the very best cloud models on hard tasks. Now, nothing comes with no price whatsoever, so there is some real hidden cost here as well, which is the upfront price of capable hardware, as I mentioned, plus the electricity to actually run it. So the move that I would recommend is to actually use both. You want to set up both models in Odysseus, not one. You connect a fast cloud model through an API for the moments that you need top tier quality and the privacy is not the most important. And run a local model through Ollama for everyday questions and anything super private or sensitive data. And then you can switch between them in the model picker depending on the task. Quick casual question, local model, free and private. Need the best possible answer on something complex, you switch to the cloud model. Most of what you do in your day does not need an expensive frontier model behind it. Now, running this myself, here is what I got for the bulk of what I throw at AI daily: quick questions, rewrites, explanations, or summaries. The local model handled it fine, costing basically nothing and staying completely private. But when I need more power, then I would have to switch to another cloud model for that one task and flipped back. Now, in my opinion, this is where Odysseus quietly wins, but only if you understand the trade-off. API keys give you quality and convenience, but cost money and break privacy. Local Ollama gives you privacy at zero cost, but leans on your hardware. There is no free lunch, you're always trading one thing for another. So at this specific use case, Odysseus lives up to the hype 100%. And in my opinion, this is the one that justifies the entire project. Running a local model, disconnecting any external APIs, and genuinely nothing you type ever leaves your hardware. Now, the second use case we'll be covering in more detail is the deep research as a decision-making machine. Now, this feature inside Odysseus is not something for you to look things up, but it is a structured tool for making real decisions. You're not using it like you would with Google. And the way you use it is that you click the deep research, but the creative part is how you prompt it. I recommend being very specific about what you want the result of this research to be. So I would write a prompt similar to this one that you can see on the screen, and then from here I have to choose between auto, product, compare, how to, or fact check. This is pretty good and will actually help point Odysseus to what you want the result to be. Another underrated thing about the deep research tool is that you can also choose which search engine to go through, the endpoint, the exact model that it should use for this research, and so on. Once you're done, you click start, and then within a few minutes, as you can see from my previous reports, it conducts a full research and comes back with a full visual report. It will help you make actual decisions, a purchase, a tool comparison, a genuine should I do this kind of question, and it will hand you a structured report with everything cited. After some use, here is what I actually think about this specific feature. It is genuinely strong with one caveat. The quality depends on the model that you connect and how your search is configured. On a good setup, it saves some real time on real decisions, but on bad setup, you could waste a few minutes waiting for a visual report only for it to be empty. So you definitely want to watch out for that, run a few deep researches, and then when you get perfect results, you save the exact settings and use them again for future deep researches. Alright, so for the next use case, we've got our own morning intelligence briefing. And what it is basically using scheduled tasks to build yourself a personal briefing that's already done before you wake up. The way you set it up is that you go to the tasks section onto the left bar, create a scheduled task, and then set it to run every morning and have it research and compile exactly what you care about. The creative part is making it fully yours. And that basically means that pulling the things that you care about. So for example, mine could be pulling together the specific news, topics, and updates tied to what I'm actually working on at the moment. And then it drops it into a note waiting for me. You are building a custom morning briefing that no app will ever sell, because you designed it around your own life and the things that you care about. So pretty much after clicking on the tasks section, you want to go to the add button, and then from there you want to add a task name or description. So mine would be daily AI tools briefing. For the schedule, you want to set it to daily. So for example, every day at 9 AM. This doesn't matter, you can choose whatever time you usually wake up and start working. Add a specific prompt, just like this one, where it searches for the latest AI tools, news, agents, etc., and then creates a concise daily briefing for my YouTube channel. The trigger will be a schedule, and then the frequency will be daily. You select the exact time, and then for the output, you can either choose a session, a notification, or have it email you. I'm gonna leave it at session, even though the other options are still very cool. You select which model you want this task to run on, and then when you're done, you click create. If you've done it correctly, you should see that the task is currently active, and the next time it will trigger. Now, if you're running this for the first time, there is a trigger button where it runs the action right away, just for you to test if it works properly. And then if it doesn't, you pretty much go in, edit it, and make the necessary changes. So this is the use case I told you to stick around for. I expected almost nothing from it, and it became the thing I use every single day. This is something that normally ChatGPT or Claude cannot do. They don't run any automated background tasks for you on a schedule. There are probably some roundabout tools to schedule tasks with Claude or ChatGPT, but you're adding yet another subscription or some add-on for that. Here, you pretty much run it for free and consistently on your own devices. So here is a result of running that specific task or use case. Every single morning or wherever I choose to, I would get an AI tool / productivity software news report, as well as some video recommendations for each topic. You can fully see the sources as you can see in this report right here, so you can go through it and maybe make some adjustments for future reports. Alright, so now let's go ahead and discuss another extremely important use case, which is turning Odysseus into your personal email manager. This is one of the most important ones because it genuinely changes your daily life, because everyone hates email and almost nobody has a good system for it. Odysseus has a built-in email client with AI baked into it, and once you set it up, it stops email from running your day and starts handling it for you. Essentially, you connect your email account to Odysseus and the AI can read your inbox, sort it, flag what actually matters, summarize long threads, and draft replies all inside your private workspace, all on your terms. So the way you set it up is you want to go to the email section and add your account through the integration settings using IMAP and SMTP. Those are the standard protocols that let Odysseus send and receive mail on your behalf. You plug in your email provider's server details, which are easy to find for Gmail, Outlook, and most providers. One important thing to keep in mind is that if email privacy really matters to you and contains a lot of sensitive information, then remember that whichever model you've connected it to is what processes your emails. So if you are using a cloud API, your email content is being read by that model's provider. For truly private email handling, you would pair this with a local model like Olama. Now, once it's connected, the AI has access to your inbox and you can start putting it to work. So when you click on the email tab, if there is no email configured already, you want to go to the settings and then the integrations. This is what connecting it will look like. The IMAP will be for receiving email and the SMTP will be for sending emails. If you don't want to use Odysseus interface to directly send emails from here, then you leave this one blank. Now I'll be connecting and using my Gmail, and since we're doing that, you don't want to use your normal Gmail password here. The required method is to use a Google app password. This will be a 16-digit password and made specifically for apps and devices when connecting your email to them. From here, you go to your Google account security settings, turn on the two-step verification if it is not already, and then create an app password. Copy the 16-digit password, and this is the one that we will be using inside Odysseus instead of the normal Gmail password. So for the provider, you choose Gmail, and then for name, you can write something like Gmail or leave it blank. You enter your full Gmail address, and then under the IMAP receiving, you want to use these settings. You add your password and then click create. Now our email should be configured and connected to Odysseus. You can actually view all of your recent inbox or mail right on this tab. You can also see the new button right here, which allows you to send email directly from Odysseus. Now you can do various things with your email now that it's connected to Odysseus. For example, you can open a specific email and read it, mark emails as read or unread, delete/archive, reply, and use bulk actions like marking all unread, archiving all, and so on. In addition to all of this, you can run specific tasks just how we did before, but now including the email as well. And that's what I meant by having it manage your entire email, so you can run scheduled tasks and have it open your email, read it, summarize the important mail, and then put them into categories like important, urgent, not important, spam, etc. A quick example is that I had it give me a quick snapshot of the 5 most recent messages in my inbox, sorted from newest to oldest. And then from here, I can have it summarize all of these emails and categorize them according to importance. Instead of checking my email every 20 minutes and going through each and every single email, regardless of how important it is, I can now just simply set all of this to be automated. Every 15 minutes or so, Odysseus can ping me if any important mail has come in. And every time it does, I will know that it's an email worth my attention. It can help you draft replies in your own style. So for example, you can tell it what to say in rough terms and it writes the email properly. Here is a quick example of that. As I received some collaboration email, I had it to draft a reply for me and send it directly inside Odysseus. So what do I think of this specific use case? I genuinely think it's life improving. The main friction being the initial IMAP or the SMTP setup and the privacy consideration around which model reads your mail. But this can be easily managed by letting your local AI models read and manage or interact with your email and letting the other cloud API keys handle the different parts of the chat. Alright, so in conclusion, after testing all of this and more, here is what I actually believe. For everyday use, casual questions, drafting, summarizing, or brainstorming, Odysseus really holds up against the paid tools. And it can do it pretty much for free and on your own machine. But I'm not going to lie to you, if you are a power user, Odysseus does not fully replace ChatGPT or Claude yet. Those frontier models are still meaningfully better at the hard stuff. Any serious coding, advanced reasoning, the polished built-in research, and voice, especially the image generation or editing features, those companies spent billions building. A couple-week-old self-hosted tool is not matching that today. And anyone telling you it does is actually lying to you. The real takeaway from all of this is that you should be using Odysseus for the things it genuinely does better. The privacy when you run it locally, the automated briefings that big tools don't offer, and the ownership of your own memory and data. The free everyday use, and keeping a frontier tool around for the heavy lifting if you actually need it. Used that way, Odysseus is not a downgrade or a gimmick. And keep in mind that it will keep getting better as time goes on. So that will be all on today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have found this video to be helpful or informative to watch, let me know by liking the video. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you don't miss out on any follow-up content that we will be making just like this one.